Hello students, I am Akanksha and this is my channel Science Par Charcha, in which we will study about some of the very basic science concepts that are in our NCERT books, and I hope you all are as excited as I am to learn new things. So now we will begin with our today's class.
Good morning, students. So today we will start our class with a topic, and that topic is kinetic energy, right? Okay, so first let me put my slide on slideshow mode, and then we will begin with our class. Okay. So as you can see, this is our topic for today, kinetic energy. So now if we move on ahead, we will see what kinetic energy actually is, right? So kinetic energy is the energy of an object uh, has because of its motion, right? So kinetic energy is the energy an object has because of its motion. So here, there is one key word in it in this definition, and that is motion. So whenever there will be motion, there will be some kinetic energy involved, right? So yes, if any object is moving, we walk, we go for morning walks. So when we are going for the morning walk, we are having some kinetic energy, right? Like some of you may enjoy going to the gym, doing workout. So then you are also again doing some motion. So then you have kinetic energy. So yes, this was all about kinetic energy, the definition. And the key word in this definition is motion. So it is a major requirement for an object to have kinetic energy, that it should be in motion. So yes, this was all about kinetic energy. Now moving on to our second point, like if an object's speed and mass is known, like at what speed an object is moving, like how fast you are walking, how slow you are running. So if we know an object's speed, and if we know the mass of an object, like how much is your weight, like if we are throwing a ball, like what is the weight of that ball. So if we know the speed and the mass of an object, then we can easily calculate this kinetic energy, right? So this was all about kinetic energy. In the first point, we saw what kinetic energy actually is. Like it is an energy of an object, like it is the energy of an object because of its motion. And in the second point, we saw that how we are calculating this kinetic energy. If we know the object's speed and if we know the object's mass, then with these two quantities, we can easily calculate the kinetic energy. So yes, these were the two main important points about kinetic energy. So now moving on ahead, we will see some different activities, right? And in these activities, you have to identify among these activities uses which activity uses the kinetic energy. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, whenever kinetic energy is involved, there is always a motion. Okay, so you have to keep that point in mind, and then you have to identify these activities, right? So when we are throwing a ball, like we are throwing a ball like this, so our hand is moving, right? So then if our hand is moving, then there is certain kind of motion, and also the ball is moving. So this then the object, the ball, will have some kinetic energy. Why? Because it is in motion if we are throwing it, right? Okay, so now yes, the first option is yes, it is having kinetic energy. So now moving on to option second, like lifting a book up and down, right? If I have this phone right here, you can consider this as a book, or you can consider this as a phone, right? If this is a phone and I move it up and down, up and down, so yes, as you can see, this phone is in certain motion because it is going up and down. So yes, this phone will have certain kinetic energy. And why? Because it is moving up and down, so it is in motion. So yes, the second option is also correct. It is having, like this book is having certain kinetic energy. So yes, it is an example of an object having kinetic energy. So yes, second is also true. Now moving on to ahead, rolling water bottle. Okay, so now whenever a water bottle is rolling, so it is like yes, rolling into a certain direction, right? So if it will roll in certain direction, then it is in motion. Again, if an object is in motion, it is having some kinetic energy. So yes, the third point is also correct. Now coming to the fourth point. Okay, so now teacher sitting still. Okay, so now I am teaching you. I am a teacher, and if I sit still without doing any work, okay, I'm not in any kind of motion. I'm just sitting at a place, single place, and yeah, if I am just reading this slide in my mind, not even with my mouth. So, do you see any kind of motion? Okay, you have to observe me for 30 seconds or like for 10 seconds. Then you can share your observations. Okay. Yes. So, as you saw, I was not moving, I was not speaking, I was not doing anything, just reading with my eyes, not doing any kind of activity or any kind of movement, right? So as I was sitting in a like a still position, so I was so we can say that I did not have, my body did not have any kind of motion, so my body did not have any kind of kinetic energy. So yes, students, these are the different examples of kinetic energy. I hope you got it. So now we will move on ahead, and then yes. So now coming on to the formula, the second point that we discussed about kinetic energy. Now, if we discuss about it, so like how we can deduce the formula, what is actually the formula of kinetic energy, then here, as in this red part, you can see this is the formula for kinetic energy, where Ke is the kinetic energy. As you can see here, Ke is the kinetic energy, and the unit for this kinetic energy is joules, right? Joules is designated by the word J, capital J, right? So this is joules, and the formula for kinetic energy is half mv square. Okay, so here this m is the mass that is in kg, right? And this mass is mass of an object that is in motion. Okay, so yes, this was the mass of the object, and this v is the velocity, or we can also say that in the previous point we discussed about the speed of an object, right? So here velocity is similar to the speed of an object. So like if an object is in motion, it will have some kind of velocity. So yes, this v is depicting the velocity that is in meter per second, right? And the square of this velocity. So this whole was the formula for kinetic energy, that is half mv square. Okay. So now if we see this last line, here we can see that ek. Ek here means kinetic energy in joules, means the unit, the SI unit or the common unit used for kinetic energy is joules. So yes, this was all about kinetic energy, and I hope you liked today's class. Okay, so yes, thank you for watching my video, and like my video and comment on it if you have any kind of doubt regarding the video or regarding the concept, and share this with your friends and families, and also subscribe to my channel and help my channel grow. Okay, bye, and meet you in the next class.